Hey everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the NFL edition of Today in Sports Betting. As always, I am joined by my partner and co-host here. It's the one and only Scott Reichel. Scott, ready to take a look at Week 13 in the NFL. Got some good battles out there. Some games should be fun, and some games that probably won't be fun. The big news here, Scott, so far, knock on wood, no big COVID news for these this set of games after the fiasco that was the Wednesday game between that was the Thursday game that had been canceled actually and then moved to Wednesday, moved to Thursday between the Steelers and the Ravens. This week it's quiet so far. As always, of course, this is Friday night, so you never know what's going to happen the next 48 hours, but we are keeping our fingers crossed. So.
Definitely true. I know that I'm happy we haven't had any rumors of any cancellations, stuff like that.
Right.
It should be a little bit of a shorter video, though, because you do have two Monday night games. You have two teams on bye, and you have a Tuesday game. And, of course, we're not going to be covering the Monday and Tuesday games because we'll do that during the week. So, Hopefully, some of the games will be entertaining. I know that there's a lot at stake for some of these teams, either playing their way into the playoff picture or out. So, still a lot left to be decided, but hopefully we can make some money in the process.
Absolutely. So let's start off here with a battle in the NFC North, the Norris division, in a game that I guess could still have playoff ramifications for the Bears. Yeah, we'll see. But if the Bears hosting the Lions, Bears -3, 44.5 is your total right there. Scott, anything to like about this Lions team? Matthew Stafford has a banged up thumb. He's going to go because he's Matthew Stafford, kind of what he does. But DeAndre Swift had a concussion last week. Now he's been sick. He missed practice on Friday. If he plays, he's going to have a diminished role. Looks like Kenny Golladay is going to be trending towards out for another week.
I'm pretty sure Golladay has officially been announced out.
He's been officially announced as of out as of 30 minutes ago. He was not, but that's certainly with news coming after Friday's practice.
It would be a shock if he plays.
Yeah, I agree. Bears got some injuries of their own. They've got both of their offensive tackles are kind of banged up. Looks like Mack is going to go, but Hicks is certainly still the question. He missed the last game. He looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. So what do you got here?
I'm going to be taking the hapless Lions plus the points here, mostly because I can't stand this Bears offense. This team isn't very good, especially from the offensive side of the ball. Everyone already knows that. They can't run the ball. They can't really protect the quarterback. They really don't do anything well besides waste Allen Robinson's prime years. But looking at the Lions, yes, they're not very good at all. But I do think that getting rid of Patricia does provide a little bit of a spark, at least temporarily, since it seems like everybody on the team hated him. So I'm kind of just banking on the new interim coach to provide a little bit of an uplifting, momentum shift for the Lions, because they finally got rid of their arch nemesis, who was their head coach, who was sabotaging pretty much their success. So do I think the Lions are good? No. I think Chicago's the better team, but I can't back this Bears team, especially laying points. I can't do it.
All right, fair enough. I think the play here, Scott, is the under. Still very, very good defense for the Bears. Hard to imagine where points are going to come from for this Lions squad. Without Swift to run the ball, without anything to take the pressure off of
I'm assuming that Kerryon Johnson will have most of the bulk, because that's what he ended up doing during the Thanksgiving game. Peterson had a couple touchdowns. Johnson handled most of the pass catching, stuff like that. So he'll probably take over.
How'd that go for him?
What?
How'd that go for him on Thanksgiving?
I think it was okay. Just the team stunk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the team you're jumping on here?
I'm jumping on the team that fired their terrible head coach.
All right.
Do you believe in any of that firing the coach equals rallying the troops kind of thing, or you think that's all a bunch of nonsense?
I think it depends on the situation. If you got a coach that was hated, if he's lost the locker room,
I think Patricia lost the locker room 2 years ago.
I don't know. Yes. I just don't know. I haven't heard reports about that. He certainly has the background, but they certainly haven't responded well and played very well for him. So,
he's a defensive-minded coach, and the defense couldn't stop anybody.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. But I do think even though Detroit's defense is still going to be terrible, whether or not Patricia's there or not, I do think that the recipe for fixing it is facing Mitch Trubisky. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm on the under. Hard to see. I don't think much. Even with the Detroit terrible defense,
I'm just leaning, but yeah.
Okay. 44.5. I'll take the under.
Okay.
Bengals Dolphins, Scott. Bengals 11.5-point dog in this one.
I see roughly 10.5. It has come down a little bit.
Wow, man, this is. I did these like 2 hours ago too, so that's some serious line movement as the Bengals have come down to 10.5, and 42.5 is still the total. All right. Yep, they come down to 42. There you go. All right. So as of this recording, that is a 10.5 for the Bengals, 42 for the Dolphins.
For the sake of argument, are we assuming Fitzpatrick's starting?
Yeah, God, yeah, I guess.
I think you have to.
I know you don't at all. If you read the reports this week, they've both been getting number one snaps. Of course, he's had a bandage on his left hand the whole time, so they haven't even seen until today.
I'm kind of saying I think you have to, because if Tua is not at 100% and you face off against right now, I think the Bengals might be the worst team in all of football. I know that you have the Jets, who are terrible. Without Burrow, this team is such a lost cause. It's not even worth talking about. This team is terrible.
Well, except they've so far their record against the spread without Burrow is 1-0.
That is definitely true. They played the Giants. They had 150 total yards of offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they still ended up covering in the end, but on a last-minute touchdown. But I'm taking Miami. I think Miami's going to kill them. It's a matter of Miami needing this game. They're still in the hunt for the division. They're still in the wild card race, stuff like that. I think Fitzpatrick's going to play. I think he should be playing. I think he's significantly better than Tua. And I think that if you're in the middle of the hunt for a division title, I don't know how you go back to Tua. But we'll see what happens there. I don't know. If it's going to happen, Flores will find a way. But I think Miami's going to kill this team.
Let me ask you this, Scott. Who's going to run the ball for Miami?
I don't even care.
Well,
I know the Gaskin's out. I'm assuming Ahmed's out.
Right. Washington's out.
Are they going with Patrick Laird?
Yeah, it's going to be Patrick Laird and Lynn Bowden.
Okay.
So does that get you excited?
I don't really care.
No,
I don't think Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's going to score less than 9 points in this game. They might not score a touchdown. Right now, with their current quarterback situation, this might actually be the worst offense in all football. And it's not even close. Because you're talking about, who does Miami have the ball? Who to run with? Who does Cincinnati have? You're going to run in the tackles with Giovanni Bernard?
Well, they're going to have to.
You Samaje Perine?
I'd rather have either one of those.
I'm just throwing it out there
than whoever Miami throws out there.
This offense is terrible. Miami's defense has been very opportunistic. I think Miami's defense might outscore Cincinnati's offense.
This number is too high. The market agrees with me. It's come down a point in the last 2 hours. I'm with the market in this one.
Okay, we're going to disagree on this one.
I wish we could have done this 2 hours ago, because
we're going to disagree on this one. But I think Miami's going to kill them. I don't think this game's going to be close.
Colts Texans 3.5.
I wanted to lean Texans just for the spot, but I can't. I got to go Colts. They're in kind of must-win territory because the AFC wildcard race is becoming seriously tough. And after Tennessee smacked them last week, they're in danger of falling out of the division race. Plus, the Texans lost the number one receiver in Will Fuller, who tested positive for PEDs. So he's gone. I got to take the Colts. I know that backing Phillip Rivers is always never a fun proposition, but I think the Colts are just such a better team from top to bottom. And I know that Watson's been great. You have Kenny Stills, who's gone. You have Will Fuller, who's gone.
Randall Tex Cobb is out.
Yeah, Cobb's out. I mean, you got Brandon Cooks, and that's basically it. This team, again, they can't run the ball. So I'm going to take the Colts. I know they got torched last week, but defensively overall, they're still good. I think the Colts will win this game.
Yeah, Duke Johnson's never going to be confused for anybody that runs the ball for Tennessee. That's what I'm saying. I've got the under here, Scott. I don't know where any points are going to come from the Texans at all.
I think the only danger I have with the under is the fact that Houston's defense is so bad that I don't know if that's really worth it. I think the Colts will just win this game by about a touchdown or so. I
don't see the Colts putting up enough points to put this under in danger. I think that number's way too high. Give me under 50 in this one.
All right.
Jags 10.5 dogs at Minnesota 50.5.
My question for you. I know that Jacksonville's not very good. I know that Minnesota, I guess, is in desperation mode, whatever you want to call it, because they did beat Carolina even though they were awful last week.
Right.
This might be one of the most head-scratching lines I've seen in a handful of weeks. I don't get it. Am I missing something?
What part don't you get?
I don't get how Jacksonville's been competitive the last couple of weeks for the most part, and yet Minnesota's laying 10 despite looking very underwhelming the last couple of weeks. I don't understand the line.
It's public perception, my friend.
I guess I'm going to take Jacksonville plus the points because I don't want to lay big numbers with Kirk Cousins.
And this one is down to 10 also.
Yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville plus the 10 because I really don't think Minnesota's that good. Their defense, especially their secondary, is not good. I think Glennon could move the ball potentially. And do you really want to lay 10 with Kirk Cousins?
Not any day of the week.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
I've got the Jags plus 10 there as well. Raiders minus 9.5 at the Jets. 46.5 is the total. Right
well, a lot has changed because this has moved down to roughly 9 even or 8 even, depending where you shop around. It's mostly because of injury news that came out over the last hour.
And that's a shame because I had that injury news 2 hours ago.
Yeah, they announced that Jacobs is out. They announced that, Farrell was originally announced out, but then they ruled him in. But yeah. Jonathan Abrams out, so they're going to be missing Abram and Jacobs.
Correct. Yeah, I've got that in my notes, man.
I personally like the Jets plus the points anyway. Before all the injuries happen, I'm still taking the Jets plus the points. Are the Jets good? No, they're arguably the worst team I've ever seen in my lifetime. Having said that, Oakland had probably the worst performance by any team this entire season.
Put $5 in the jar.
Vegas. Vegas had the worst performance I've seen. Sorry, they played like the Oakland Raiders last
year. They did.
But they were awful. They got killed. And the last time they ended up playing against the Jets last year in the Meadowlands, they lost 34-3. The Raiders don't typically travel well to the East Coast, from what I remember. I'm not saying that the Jets are going to win this game because they won't, but I really don't want to lay points with this Raiders team that I think best case scenario is streaky. Worst case scenario is an overachieving mediocre team.
Yeah. The Raiders get a lot of credit for playing the Chiefs tough twice, and that's really all that they've done good this season. I've got the over in this one.
Okay.
I think the Jets are going to throw. I think they're going to throw it around the field. I think
the only thing that scares me with the Jets is Darnold, because I think the Jets' offense was better with Flacco, and I don't think it was even close.
Yeah, he certainly had a good last game.
But Flacco had like 2 or 3 good games in a row where he actually looked like he was competent.
Yeah, he did.
Darnold, you look at Darnold play. I know that the Jets don't have many good offensive linemen. Becton's great, but he's always injured. They got no running game. The receiving core is actually decent, surprisingly. Now that
right, that's definitely the highlight of that team.
Yeah, the receiving core is decent, but I look at Darnold and I don't even. It's kind of like Carson Wentz, where you're just looking at the guy and going, "What happened?"
Yeah,
I don't. That's the only issue I have there. But I think the Raiders will struggle a little bit in the cold weather of New York, or New Jersey, whatever you want to call it. So for me, I'll take the Jets plus the points.
Fair enough. All right. Saints Falcons. They're in the Dome in Atlanta. Saints road favorites 2.5 points. 45 is the number. Is that
kind of deja vu? I feel like these teams just played each other.
So that's actually gone up to 46 and stayed at 2.5. So
what do you think? Rinse and repeat?
I don't see any reason. I don't see any reason not to. The only thing to worry about with the Saints is, Janoris Jenkins is out. Falcons been playing better defense, but the Saints are just going to pound the run.
We just saw this.
Yeah.
They played. What was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Saints dominated. Atlanta only scored 9 points. New Orleans' defense is actually pressuring quarterbacks, which is very nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said before about these older guys, you're talking about Brady, talking about Rivers, talking about all these guys. If you get pressure in their face, they're going to struggle. And Matt Ryan isn't getting any younger.
No.
So I think the Saints should just blitz everybody again, force Ryan to beat them. I know Julio is not at 100%. Is he still questionable? I don't know if he's even going to play. But looking at everything else here, I expect the Taysom Hill ground game extravaganza.
Yep.
I think they'll run for a bunch of yards and win a pretty low-scoring game. So for me, I'll lean to the Saints and I'll lean to the under.
Yeah, I've got the Saints minus 2.5 in this one as well.
I'm assuming you like the under also.
I do have a premium play on that.
Okay, fair enough.
Browns at Titans. Titans minus 5.5. 53.5 is the number there. Browns getting a little thin on wide receiver. Taylor's out. Hodge is out. Derrick Henry's in though, and that's going to be likely trouble for the Browns. I've got the Titans right here, minus 5.5 points. I think they do what they need to do.
Yeah, I am leaning Titans completely. It's a matter of Cleveland's 8-3. I thought they'd make the playoffs this year when we did our preseason division breakdown stuff.
Right.
It might be one of the least impressive 8-3 teams I've ever seen. No exaggeration. I know that I'm not going to take away from them for winning games, which of course is the objective. But if you've looked at their performances, have they really had one dominating performance all year besides maybe, I mean, you had the Washington game, I guess. You had the Cowboys game, which they didn't really dominate. But you look at all these wins, it's just like, yeah, you beat Cincinnati by 5. You beat the NFC East by double digits. You beat Indianapolis by 9, which was a pretty interesting game based on just defensive touchdowns and stuff like that. You beat Cincinnati by 3. Then you beat Houston by 3. You beat Philly by 5. You beat Jacksonville by 2.
Okay, now in fairness,
The weather was terrible in those games.
The 2 weeks in a row there, the Philly and Houston game, the weather was absolutely.
But that's why I also think that Cleveland's overrated, because people think their defense is good, but when they actually play in regular weather, they're terrible.
I'll tell you what they are is they are susceptible to the run.
This defense is awful whenever they play in regular weather. They are terrible.
Yeah, I like the Titans here minus the 5.5.
I think the Titans win by 7+.
Okay, yeah.
I'd lean to the over as well.
I just don't know if we can get enough help out of Cleveland.
That's fair. I personally just think that Tennessee is going to score 30+.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. The New York Football Giants going to the to the Great Northwest, take on Seahawks. Seahawks minus 11, 47.5.
You think it's going to be a good day for Longhorn Nation?
Well, it may not be a good weekend at all for Longhorn Nation with our K-State pick, and then your old pal Colt McCoy getting the start for this one. Most likely, it's not 100% yet. It looks very grim on Daniel Football Jones getting the start there. However,
he's not going to play.
Well, like I said, I think the only reason he's listed as doubtful and not out is just to
get Seattle
just to have them scheme a little bit extra for Jones. But I think it's 90% plus that he will not play.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about Colt McCoy. He sucks. I like the Seahawks minus 11. Next game. What do you got?
Instead of taking the spread, I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
You have Seattle on a short week playing on Monday. The Giants, even with Daniel Jones, their offense wasn't exactly juggernaut by any means.
No.
I think the Giants should probably score around 13 points, maybe a little bit more. But I think the Giants' defense is good enough to actually give Seattle some slight issues, maybe force a couple of punts. I'm not saying they're going to hold them to below like 28, but I think that they can hold them potentially to below 30. So I think this game could finish, I don't know, 28-13. I don't think it's going to be a fun game to watch, but I think the Giants' defense is actually pretty decent.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a player make more of an impact on a team and turn their fortunes around than Carlos Dunlap on this Seattle Seahawks pass rush?
Minkah Fitzpatrick going to Pittsburgh.
Very good. That'd be a good comp. This is all of a sudden a ferocious Seattle Seahawks.
Also Jamal Adams being fully healthy, but yes.
Well, yeah, it certainly makes a difference. But he's only been healthy for what, 2 games?
No, I know. I'm just saying that he was even playing with a shoulder injury, and apparently that's kind of fixed itself. So
yeah, I think this is going to be a long day for Colt McCoy. Long day for Colt McCoy. And hell, he may get knocked out of this game. Yeah, I got nothing for the Giants here. I don't hate your under, but I like the Seahawks there minus 11. Rams Cardinals, Scott. This is talk about playoff implications right here. Rams are the visitors. 48 is the total right here. What you got?
I like the Rams. There's really no way I can take the Cardinals based on how they're playing lately. You saw how they performed recently. That Patriots loss is, in my opinion, the reason why they're not going to make the playoffs. That loss is pretty brutal. Cam throws for less than 100 yards passing, and you still can't win the game. But looking at Arizona, the wheels have kind of started to fall off, and I'm not sure if that's all on Kingsbury, but he's definitely not exactly helping to correct things as fast as he should. Because Arizona, was looking very, very sharp. Now they're 6-5. They're in third place in the division. It's not looking too great. They've lost 3 of their last 4, and their one win came on a Hopkins Hail Mary.
Right.
This team just isn't playing well. The Rams, I know, performed very well against Arizona last year. I'm not saying it's going to carry over, but scheme-wise, they look pretty good. And the Rams were awful against the 49ers, which I personally predicted. But I do think that Goff will bounce back because Arizona's defense is not very good. So for me, I think this game will be somewhat close, but I'm going to take the Rams, especially since Kyler, I know he's playing and all, but I still don't think he's fully 100% healthy. So for that reason, I'll take the Rams.
He's walking like he's banged up. I agree. I'm on the Rams here as well. Rams -3.
Yep.
Eagles, Packers. Packers -9 there at Lambeau. 48.
I see Rams -2.5, so I'm just going to take the 2.5.
Are we down to 2.5 there?
For the most part.
I've still got it at 3.
When in doubt, I know you're not a McVay guy. I think you'd agree that you take McVay over Kingsbury any day of the week. Kingsbury's made some brutal clock management decisions on 4th and inches and settling for 50-yard field goals. He's really bad in the last 4 minutes of games. He's terrible.
Well, there's a lot more to coaching than that.
I know. I'm just saying 4th and 1, he's had some really, really questionable decisions, and I think that McVay, I think he knows what he has. I think they're limited offensively because I don't think Goff's very good, but at least he is aware of what he has and he tries to do something with it. I think Kingsbury knows what he's doing offensively for about 3 quarters, and then the 4th quarter he just gets too conservative at times. And I just think that he just should realize I have a top 5 quarterback in the league. Give him the ball, and let's just see what happens. And he just doesn't do that.
Watching the Cardinals game is a lot like watching a movie that falls apart in the 3rd act. They look pretty good for the opener. They look pretty good for the middle section, but when it goes into the resolution, they just can't close the deal.
Yep.
That was a horrible loss to New England. I totally agree with that. And they failed to cover 4 straight, and they should have lost 4 straight. You're right. Team going the wrong way right here. I got the Rams -2.5 as well. Eagles Pack. We did this. What do you? Only question here is Darius Slay may not go for the Eagles. I don't think I care. I got the Packers.
I don't think it matters anyway. Metcalf killed them. I expect Devontae Adams to kill him anyway.
Yep. I got Packers all day right here -9.
I'm a little bit torn on this one because I think 9's a lot of points.
It is.
I think Philly, even though this team stinks, and wow, they're terrible, they somehow keep games close via the Hail Mary variety. If I'm going to lean anywhere, I'm going to lean to the under because Philly has scored exactly 17 points in each of the last 3 games. I know that Green Bay's offense went nuts, but I know Philly can also rush the passer. I think Green Bay could end up scoring around 30, but I think the Eagles are going to score about 17. So for me, I'm going to lean to the under because I think that the Packers will basically have to do all of the heavy lifting in order for this game to go over.
Okay. Yeah, I don't hate that.
I'm not thrilled with it, but that's where I'll go.
Pats Chargers pick 'em 47.5 is the total right here.
I'm taking the Patriots. I think Anthony Lynn is an abomination of a head coach. I said that during the offseason video. I was talking about how this team on paper should make the playoffs, but I think Anthony Lynn is atrocious, and he's somehow gotten even worse when it comes to making decisions.
Not exactly a smoking hot take, but yeah.
No, but I'm saying I said that they should have fired him during the offseason, not brought him back and whatever, and they brought him back. And people are thinking, this Chargers team, they're close. I'm like, yeah, because they're winning every 4th quarter before they blow it every time. Is Anthony Lynn, he's not Gase bad. I know Patricia's now fired. Dan Quinn's now fired. With every coach that's still available, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. Is Lynn a bottom, 3 coach, 2 coach? He's terrible.
Who else is on that list?
That's what I'm saying. Most of the awful coaches have been fired already.
Well, I got a hot take.
Mike McCarthy.
I think McCarthy should be on that.
I was going to say McCarthy deserves a mention.
Yeah.
I tell based on how the season's been going, I think Doug Peterson deserves to be.
I'll say I don't know if I agree with. I don't know if I think this is true or not. As far as him being a horrible coach, but I think Vic Fangio's done.
I was going to mention Fangio also. I think Fangio's terrible.
I think
good coordinator, bad head coach.
Yeah, I think Elway's about had enough of him.
But just looking through everything that I've seen from Lynn, can you justify them running the ball after that 4th and 27 Hail Mary conversion against Buffalo? That I've seen some bad. I know they're going to lose the game anyway. That's not the point. That might actually be the worst play call I've seen in a handful.
Cost us a push on the total.
That is That might be the worst play call I've seen in years.
I had a terrible week with Hail Marys this week. They went against us both times when the Chargers completed that one and then couldn't get in the end zone. And, of course, we took the beat on Philly on Monday night.
How do they run the ball with 20 seconds left and no timeout?
What was the game we saw? Was it the college game yesterday? Where they ran the ball? What the hell game were we on? Or it was the Baltimore game.
Yeah.
It was the NFL game on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Where they didn't get any points before halftime because they took the timeout with 20 seconds and ran the ball. God. Yeah, that was a class act there too. When in doubt, you got Belichick against Anthony Lynn. I'm not going to overthink this one. I'll take the Patriots. I've got the under here.
I think the Chargers are the better team on paper, but Anthony Lynn is. I don't really know what he's doing. Cause
Anthony Lynn and Belichick. You take Belichick, really?
I know, it's crazy.
Sizzling.
I'm taking the guy who can't throw for over 100 yards versus the guy who always throws.
Best his gloves out.
I'm taking the quarterback who throws for 100 yards opposed to the one that throws for 300.
And he's banged up. He's questionable. He's going to go, but he's hurt. Mm-hmm. This could be Jared Stidham by the time we're done. I like the under here. I don't know where points are going to come from for any team.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is the Chargers could be had through the air, so it's a great matchup for them because that ain't happening. That's we'll play that. The last game of the night, a little Sunday evening affair between my hometown Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos. As far as I know, Scott, last time I checked, still going to have about 18,000 rockin' fans, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the bigger crowds in the NFL this time of year.
Yep.
And they host the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm too. I got minus 14 still. 51's the total.
I see about 13.5 at some spots.
That's what I was going to advise our audience to see if we could get it down to 13.5 and low.
I'll take it. I know that Denver's going to get
going the other way. We're going to get 13 pretty quick too because it's still it's juiced. It's juiced to the 13.5.
Yeah, Denver's going to get the quarterbacks back, so you're not going to have to see a wide receiver running some type of makeshift offense. But at the end of the day, Kansas – I mean, you could attest to this. Kansas City kills Denver every year.
Yeah. Although they did beat them last year, but that was when Mahomes went out with the injury. They beat him they lost him that first game up there in Denver when he went out with the dislocated knee on the quarterback sneak. If you want a sure bet, you can bet that you will never see Pat Mahomes run another quarterback sneak as long as Andy Reid is the coach. Scott, I got on the schneid with the Chiefs last week. I actually picked against them, and Tampa got a late cover to beat the number. So I'm about 1-60 on the Chiefs this year. It just seems that way. I've got the Chiefs here too, so you probably should be afraid. I think Kansas City takes care of this just a horrible team.
I agree.
And the Chiefs are remarkably healthy right now. Sammy Watkins is back. They lost.
I know Hilarian's questionable, but I don't know if that really matters.
It doesn't because they've got 3 competent backs behind him.
Mm.
He's a nice little bonus to have. They don't need him to win.
I agree.
So I got the Chiefs minus 13.5 there.
Okay.
All right, my friend. That's short and sweet. That is to the point, and rip it right there. So
yep.
Good luck. Any final thoughts on this NFL card?
Overall, no. Hopefully all the games get played, of course. Hopefully you don't have some last-minute outbreaks. And looking forward to breaking down college basketball also because there should be some pretty good games on the weekend card. Yep,
very good. And, we appreciate you guys stopping by to check out our NFL stuff. As always, if you're looking for even deeper dives into these games, don't forget to check out winnersandwhiners.com, the #1 site on the internet for predictive sports analysis. You will get over there and you will discover it and you will love it. Trust me. So check out winnersandwhiners.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already on the old video. We appreciate it. We're working hard for you, trying to put out those winners. So give us a little thumb in return, if you would. For all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, for myself, for Scott Reichel, appreciate you guys stopping by. Wish you nothing but good luck all weekend long. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. And we'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.